Let's see, maybe I can mostly fix it. I apologize. So messy. Okay, so now this graph looks much better. Okay, so I have points going all the way through there. My solid dot right here. Okay, so that was my first piece. What questions do you guys have about that first piece? Okay, so everybody understands how to fill in the table and how to do the inequality? Okay, if that's the case, we'll move on to the second one, and I'm going to start calling on people to see how we really understood. Okay, so Yvonne, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, so we are going to fill in this one. Now, I know that the interval does not include 2, so this one will be an open dot when we do it, but we still want to have a dot there so we can show how the function goes as it gets really close to that point. So I'm going to sub in 2 to this bottom function, negative x plus 3. What will I get when I sub 2 into this function? What's that final answer?
-1.
It's going to be positive 1. The 3 is bigger than the -2, but yes, positive 1. Good. Then Rashani, are you here?
Yeah.
So Rashani, can you do the next one for me? I'm going to sub in 3 into my function, and what should my final answer be? Rashani, if you could speak really close to your computer.
Can you zoom in?
Can I zoom in? Yes.
Is it 0?
Yeah, 0. Very good. Thank you, Rashani. Okay, then Katie, can you sub in 4 for me for the next one? And tell me what I get?
You would get -1.
Thank you very much. And then Jonathan's not here. Jamie, are you here?
Yeah.
So can you sub in negative or the 5 for me? So this is what my function looks like. What's my final answer?
-2.
Perfect. So now I'm going to plot these values. The very first one I'm going to plot is at 2, 1. So I'm going to go right 2, up 1. I'm going to put an open circle here because this is technically not included in this domain. Okay, then I'm going to go right 3, down 0. Is that right? 2, 3, yeah. Then 4. Wait, but I didn't even go to 3. I went 3 past 1. That was at 4. I apologize, guys. So at 3, 0, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Then I should have a point at 4, -1. And then a point at 5, -2. Okay, so then I'm going to take my straight edge and I'm going to draw a line through all of those points. Sorry, I had to move my paper to get my ruler to fit. And that should be what our final graph looks like for our piecewise function. Okay, so we split it into 2 pieces. We always start with the number that's in our inequality and then go whichever direction we need to. This one was the values less than 2, so we went down. So we went 2, 1, 0, -1. And then here we wanted to start at 2, and we wanted values bigger. So we went 3, 4, 5. Okay, and then we just plotted those points on our graph. So what questions do you guys have about that process? Okay, so I'm going to flip the paper over and we're going to do another one together. And this one has 3 different inequalities that define the piecewise function. Okay, so we're going to go through all of those. Oh, I copied my paper stupidly this morning. Okay, so we're working with this function g of x. And let me get out some different colors. Okay, so we have 3 different domains here. So I'm just gonna like outline each one in a different color so that we can differentiate between them. Okay, so this last one I'm gonna have for values x bigger than 3. X is greater than 3, sorry. Let me zoom out a little bit so you can see the whole thing. For the middle one, we're going to have x values between -1 and 3. Got a little squished and it's in yellow. I apologize. And then for the very first one, we're going to have values where x is less than -1. Okay, so each of the numbers that are in the inequalities have to be included in our table. So I'm going to start with -1 here. And then I want values of x that are smaller than -1. So I need to go left. So I need to do like maybe -2 and -3. Okay. Another thing I want to point out is that this is strictly less than -1. So -1 should be an open circle when we're on our graph. Maybe I'll do that out here so it doesn't look like I'm saying -10. Okay. Oops, sorry. Okay. Now for the next one, I need to both include -1 and +3 on my graph. Okay. Both of these will be closed circles because we have less than or equal to signs. And a number between those two is 0. So we'll put 0. And for the very last one, we want values bigger than 3. I'm going to start with my value that's in my inequality. And I want values bigger than that. So I'm going to go up to 4 and then 5. Okay, now I want to associate each equation with the correct function or with the correct inequality. So with this green one, I should have the equation 1/2 x. With the yellow, I should have x plus 2. And with the orange, I should have -x. What questions do you guys have so far? I know that I've gone through pretty quickly. Okay, if there are no questions, I'm going to go ahead and fill these in. So at -1, we're filling that into this function right here. So I'm going to have 1/2 times -1, which should give me -1/2. This is a 1/2. Okay. With -2, I'm going to have 1/2 times -2, which should give me -1. Then I'll have 1/2 times -3, which gives me -3/2, or -1.5 would be fine as well. Then for the yellow domain, oh, and I forgot, I'm sorry. This is strictly greater than, so this is going to have an open circle. I'm going to write that this is an open dot, so we know it's not a 0. Okay, back to this table. So I'm subbing in -1 to x plus 2. I'm -1 plus 2. Okay. Then I'm going to have, and that should give me 1. And I'm going to have 0 plus 2, which is 2. And 3 plus 2, which is 5. Then with my orange table, I'm just taking these x values and making them negative. So -3, -4, -5. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do something that we didn't do on the last one. On my graph, I'm going to mark where the domain goes. So at -1, so I have x is less than -1, I'm going to have my green part. Then from -1 to +3, I should have my yellow section. Oops, that's just a few. And then from 3 on, I should have my orange section. Okay, so that's kind of the places where these functions should go. All right, so let's go ahead and draw them in. So my first one, I should have an open dot at -1, -1/2. So right here. Then I'll put a point at -2, -1. And then I'll put a point at -3, -3/2. So I should get a function that goes down like this with an open circle. Then for my yellow function, I need a closed dot at -1, 1. I need a closed dot at 0, 2. And then I need another closed dot at 3, 5. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Something's wrong. I did something wrong. 0, 2. Guys, I can't count today for some reason. 0, 2 is right here. So I should have a line right here with a filled in dot here and a filled in dot there. And then for my orange section, I should have an open dot at 3. So yes, 1, 2, 3, -3. 1, 2, 3. So an open dot right here. Then at 4, -4. And at 5, -5. So I should have a line going through like this. Okay, so those are my 3 pieces of my function. I split it up into my 3 different tables. Okay, I labeled how my dots were going to be the whole way. And I've indicated where my sections were on my x-axis as I went. What questions do you guys have about this process?
I have a question.
Go for it.
So for the first one, for the half x,
Yes.
so how for like -1 is like 1/2, and then like -2 is a whole number, and then -3 is a half again?
That's a good question. And it's because half of -2, so 2 is an even number, it's split into a whole number. Odd numbers are going to have fractions like this.
Okay.
Even numbers can be divided by 2 easily.
Okay.
And you get a whole number. So that's why that does that.
Okay.
Okay, what other questions do you guys have? Okay, so it is 1:15. There is one more problem on the back of this sheet. It has h of x. I want you guys to write h of x down and fill out tables for each section and then try to graph it on your own. That's going to be a UDO problem. I will also do it and I will post it on Canvas as soon as we're done with class. Te
tengo que dar de nuevo.
Henry, can you mute yourself, please? So you guys have normal classwork and homework to do. And then this I'm not collecting. I just want you to try to do it on your own so you make sure you understand. If we were in class, I would have you do it on your own right now and I'd come around and check it. Okay, so what questions? If you guys don't have any questions, you're free to go. If you do have questions, feel free to stay on and you can ask your questions to me personally. But great job today, guys, and I will see you tomorrow.